Brother Malcolm X is one of our greatest and most important black liberation theorists. He told us very important things. Things like his three-part outline for what we should do.
Wake up, clean up, stand up.
He also famously told us that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. But what does that mean? Passport is an official document that confirms your identity, but it also authorizes you to visit foreign countries and travel the world. Number one, it means that education helps to identify you. It describes who you are, what you know how to do, what your interests are, what your accomplishments are, what your potential is. It equips and empowers us to make moves. So when we say it's your passport to the future, in the same way that a passport authorizes you to travel, to go overseas, to get up high in a plane and see different parts of this earth, education does the same thing, though not as literal, but more metaphorical. It means that you can go places that other people can't. You can make moves in your life. You have viable options. And then we can say that education is preparatory, right? He says that the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So in this sense, education is a preparatory tool. The knowledge, the training we receive through education prepares us to exert power and influence in the future. Delayed gratification is to kind of give you one of the secrets to success. Not to expect things immediately. Great things, including you, took time to develop. What are some of the implications of that phrase, of that concept, as it relates to actually educating black children? There's a few things I think we need to really think about. That our curriculums, our educational institutions, our community educators, our JEGNAs need to help teach black children to think critically, how to conduct research and apply the conclusions or the findings of that research, how to govern themselves, how to rule themselves politically, how to express themselves effectively and authentically, how to effectively manage their time, their money, and people. They need to be taught knowledge of self and love of self, genuine love of self, not cosmetic. They need to have some type of character formation element to education. Talking about not only what we do, but how we do it. What's our ethos? Where's our ethical compass, our moral compass? The statement from Brother Malcolm implies that we need to learn how to interact constructively and effectively with nature, each other, and other people. We need to have the specific tools and knowledge to survive and thrive in the world as it is, and in the world as we anticipate in the future. That whatever we're learning in these schools for our kids and for ourselves should prepare us for the world as it is right now and for the world that we envision in the future. We need to teach our children, based on Brother Malcolm's comment about education is our passport, a willingness and an ability to solve problems, the willingness and ability to defend themselves individually and collectively. You can teach them how to center their needs and their interests, to make those the priority without harming or oppressing other people. Because the goal here is not to beat up white folk, although that's very, that gets us very riled up. But to be honest, that's really not the end game. The end game here is to create power for ourselves, to take this world and to the best of our ability, bend it to our image and the interests, and do so in a way that does not harm the earth or other people unnecessarily. To be free and liberated and self-governing and sovereign. The ability to mediate conflicts peacefully when possible. To understand and appreciate the concept of delayed gratification. To not be overly materialistic and vain. Those character things, fam. Because we can produce a generation of students that has the technical ability, the knowledge, but their character isn't right. So those things will be sabotaged by their ignorance, their naivete, and their greed or dishonesty. So the character piece is very important. The education our children need is not just reading, writing, arithmetic, and computing and those things, or STEM. Our kids need to know how to participate in healthy, loving, productive, and empathetic relationships, families, and organizations. Now, I want you to think about all the stuff we went through. And you might be saying, well, Brother Ajay, sounds really ambitious, but that's a lot to require of our schools and our teachers. Well, you're right. And that's why I'm not just saying this is something that schools and teachers need to do. We have a Ghanaian proverb we quote every day that it takes a village to raise a child, right? Well, yeah, that is correct. My assumption is that the teachers, the educational professionals, the after school youth development professionals or workers. Um, those are the formal educators, right? But our business owners can be educators. Parents, relatives can be educators. People that's grassroots organizers in our communities can be educators, right? So I don't see this as just something that happens with teachers or in schools. What type of people do we want to create? If education is our passport to the future, and if tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for today, what type of people do we want to create in the future? Or what type of African and New African is needed now and in the future? And that guides everything.